Hi guys! Welcome back to our channel, no? So for today's video guys, pag-uusapan natin ang distributable income and payout ratio. So madami sa atin mga investors ang laging natutuwa kung mataas po ang bigayan ng dividends ng mga hawak nating REITs. Pero guys, no, always remember that giving too much dividends with a very high payout ratio can be alarming and can possibly harm the growth of the company long term. Also, meron din namang hidden opportunities sa mga REITs na nagbibigay lamang ng tamang payout ratio na umaayon sa nakasaad sa REIT law. Kung interesado kang malaman ang mga risks and opportunities regarding payout ratio, then watch this video out. Hi there guys, this is Alec Paclibar, your REIT buddy. So I hope you are all doing well with your investing journey at andito na naman tayo ngayon, no, para bagong kaalaman tungkol sa REIT, no. I just want to emphasize here na as REIT investor, dapat alam natin ang payout ratio ng bawat REITs every time they declare a dividend. So let's start by discussing kung ano ang nakasaad sa ating REIT law. So, according sa REIT Law Act of 2009, RA number 9856, Rule number 4, Section 4, REITs are mandated by law to give out 90% of its distributable income as dividends to shareholders. To make things clear, no, ang term na ginamit po dito sa batas natin ay distributable income at hindi po net income. So, magkaiba po sila, no? So, I will show you two different example computation po kung paano po na-derive ang distributable income. So first example po guys, no, a REIT. So this is how we derive to the numbers of distributable income, no. So net income plus minus, so the unrealized gain or loss of fair value change of investment property. So every time guys, no, every time na magbabago ang fair value ng investment properties, nagkakaroon po ito ng changes sa distributable income. So, distributable income ay pwede pong tumaas or pwede ring bumaba, depende po sa fair value change ng kanilang properties. So, majority po ng fair value of the REIT is determined using discounted cash flow method under income approach. And meron po yan property valuer, sila pong responsable doon sa pag-compute ng fair value ng investment properties. So pangalawang example po dito naman ay sa V-REIT. So net income, no, plus minus fair value change in investment properties ulit. Pero in V-REIT's case, no, negative po ang kanilang fair value change kaya pabawas po ito. So minus straight line adjustments. Yung straight line adjustments po, yan yung kunyari nagbayad ng halagang pang isang buong taon ang tenants, but V-REIT only need to declare 1 quarter only kasi we are just talking about dividends specifically for 1 quarter. So ganun po ang computation para makuha ang distributable income ng REIT. So review po ulit natin guys, no? Magkaiba po ang net income and distributable income. Net income affected by fair value change and straight line adjustment. Then we get to derive the numbers for distributable income. Now we go to payout ratio. So ang sabi po sa batas natin, 90% ng distributable income or 90% ng payout ratio ang dapat ibibigay nila sa investors through dividends. At ito po ang recent payout ratio ng mga REITs natin, no? Yan. So lahat naman nag-comply ng tama. Well, wala silang magagawa, no? Kasi nga that is mandated by law. So may dalawa po tayong REITs na lagpas po sa 100% ang kanilang payout ratio, which is Citico REIT and PhilInvest REIT. So what does this mean guys, no? Ang ibig sabihin nito guys, they are issuing more dividends than what they earned. So ang karaniwang tanong po dito ay kung saan nila kinukuha ang excess na pera for dividend payout. Now, we go to retained earnings available for dividend declaration. So, klaruhin ko lang po ulit guys ha, hindi po retained earnings. dapat retained earnings available for dividend declaration. So magkaiba po silang dalawa. Yung retained earnings available for dividend declaration, these are excess cash na intended for cash dividends. So this is an example of Citico REIT retained earnings available for dividend declaration. So ito po yung beginning, at kung mapapansin nyo guys na sobra-sobra po yung dividend declaration nila, which resulted to lower retained earnings for this quarter. So wala pong masama dyan guys, no? Kasi po itong retained earnings available for dividend declaration are intended naman talaga na ibigay ito sa investor. So what do we need to monitor if they keep on giving more than 100% of their payout ratio? So ang i-monitor lang natin dito guys ay ang retained earnings available for cash dividends. Kasi once po na bumaba ang amount nito, they can no longer give more than 100% and kailangan nila magpababa ng dividends para mag-below 100% yung payout ratio to refill those retained earnings. So napakasimple lang po guys, no? Napakasimple lang po i-analyze ito. As long as they have a lot of retained earnings, they have the right to be generous and can exceed more than what they can earn. So for PhilInvest REIT naman guys, I have a separate video about this. Tignan nyo na lang po sa aming channel and you can just move forward kung saan diniscuss ko ang retained earnings. So para sa akin guys, no, it is a good sign, no, if the REIT only follows 90% because the gap between 90 to 100% is what we call opportunity. So ano itong opportunity na ito guys, no? Number 1, that gap can be used for growth. Number 2, they can slightly increase it to boost dividend yield. Kung medyo bumaba ang income, pwede nila i-maintain ang dividend yield just by increasing the payout ratio. So number 3, pwede nila ito pambayad ng utang. So bottom line guys, no, ideally, maganda po talaga na kapag nag-stick na lang po sila sa 90%, which is yun yung nakasaad sa ating batas. Mahalaga pa din na kasi guys na merong bumabalik na cash para sa kumpanya, no? So that is all for today's video guys. Salamat sa suporta. If you have any comments or thoughts, just drop it down below the comment section. So that's all for today guys. Thank you for watching. We will be uploading more educational videos soon. So like, share, and subscribe.